So it's that time of the year again. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm sure you've heard that song 1,000, if not 100,000 times now that you've been around the malls, jeepneys, or maybe on the train. So yes, Christmas is there. And it's not just about Christmas, okay? So it's also about bonuses. 13th-month pay, end of the year bonuses, 14th month pay for those who are lucky, right? And for us in HR, and there's one realistic season also that I'll share with you. This is the time of the year where HR people won't be surprised if after the release of bonuses, the next things that we would receive are notices of resignation. And a lot of my HR friends will agree with me that aside from it being bonus season, December and January up to February are actually the season for mass exits. Which brings us to today's topic, right? I decided on today's topic in one of the conversations I had with one of people I work with here in Sprout, and we were thinking, you know, it's an uncomfortable topic to tackle, but it's a topic that should be talked about, okay? So without fear, with full candor, let's talk about when should an employee quit his job. Employee meaning you, me, and everybody else who works an 8 to 5, 9 to 6 for a company or any organization. Okay? So, when should you quit? My candid answer, anytime. All the time. But, before you quit, there are three things. There are three things that you should ask yourself. Okay? Before you turn in that I'm done, I'm resigning, final, irrevocable, unchangeable. Okay, so let's tackle those three things. Right. So first thing you should ask yourself before you quit your job is, are you ready to quit? When I say are you ready to quit, one, if you're the breadwinner of the family, whether you're married, you got kids, starting a family, or you're the eldest with brothers, 3 sisters, 2 brothers, or you may be the youngest, but you're the only gainfully employed family member, right? Are you financially ready to lose your job? Okay. Aside from that, do you have enough savings with you to somehow act as a buffer in the time that you are unemployed? The next question you'd probably have is, what's a safe buffer? You can do a quick Google search, and the average buffer they would give you, articles would give you, self-help articles would give you, is that at least 6 months of your net salary to be able to say that you are, ready financially to quit your job. But some people may say that it shouldn't be a problem if you have another job waiting for you, that the unemployed period actually between job A and job B would be short. So okay, given that that you may quit your job today, or let's say your last day would be today, and on Monday you have a new job waiting for you, so there's no waiting period. The next question that is still with the main question, if you're ready to quit your job, is that in your current role with your current company, have you exhausted every resource, every learning opportunity in your company? See, because that's part of asking yourself, am I ready to leave? Have I learned everything I need to learn where I am at right now? Have I, let's say you're at a senior level, have I mentored or have I shared everything I need to share with the people I work with? Okay. Have I made enough difference for the company, for the organization, that would say, okay, I've made enough difference, and I'm ready to move on to the next company. If your answers there are yes, okay, congratulations to you. Let's say, all right, you're financially ready. You've exhausted every learning opportunity. You've exhausted every mentoring opportunity. You've exhausted every growth opportunity, right? Still, the next thing you should think about is exhausting all learning opportunities, exhausting all growth opportunities. Has that made your mark with the company? Like if you leave the company, will people remember you for what you did for the organization, right? So those are the things that you should consider when you answer are you ready to quit your job, right? Next item. Okay, so first, you ask yourself, are you ready to quit, right? Second thing you need to ask yourself is, why? Why am I quitting? Why should I quit? Why should I resign, right? A lot of reasons. There are a lot of reasons why people leave their jobs. And if you do a quick search online, and if you do a quick read up on people improvement articles, a lot of the articles say, or a lot of reference say, that one major reason why people leave their jobs is because of the boss or the direct supervisor. Putting that in a general sense, many of us leave our jobs. It's not because of money, it's not because of benefits, but because of somebody or the people that we work with. My point there would be, is that people concern? Is that people issue an issue that is so unworkable? Like you're leaving because you don't like your boss. Have you talked to your boss about it? Does he or she know how you feel? If you can't talk directly to your boss or to your supervisor, have you reached out to HR? See? It may not be your boss. Let's say you don't work well with your teammates. You've tried so hard. You went through probationary period. You went through regularization. It's been over 2 years or 1 year. You're still with the same team. You've been productive, but it's just that the relationships are not working. Have you talked to your teammates about it? Do they know, or have you kept everything inside? Okay. The question of leaving a job because of a people concern, to me, is a very, very workable situation. Only in very rare cases, let's say in the rarest case, that it's such an unworkable or unmanageable or unchangeable situation, then okay, I'd say, all right, you have a very justified reason to leave. But most often, when people leave their jobs because of people concerns, they later find out that when they move to the next company, the same kind of people issues exist. Whether you like it or you like it, guys, there'll always be rotten tomatoes even into the next basket that you're going to jump in. There is no perfect organization. If you find the perfect organization, please feel free to share that with me so that I could interview their HR and ask them how they made it so perfect. If you're having people issues and that's the reason why you're considering leaving your job, consider reaching out to either your immediate supervisor first or to your HR. Somebody who you can trust and talk to about these issues. If these issues cannot be fixed, then all right, by all means, that's a justified reason. Okay. Another reason perhaps when you try to figure out why are you quitting is because you've stagnated in the role where you're at. You figured out that at this age, this is not really what I want to be doing in my career. Okay. An example, say because of necessity, you started to work in a BPO, but finished, say, a nursing degree or a medical degree or a IT degree, and that working in the BPO was something that you could see first as a means to provide for your family. And then you figure out, nah, this isn't really what I want. I want to become a software engineer, or I really want to pursue my nursing degree, or I actually want to pursue artistic stuff. Then it's one thing to consider, because a job is a job, but if it becomes so routine that you don't like doing it, you have to remember that your job occupies a major part of your day. Okay? So there, you really, really have to figure out the why. So aside from answering, are you ready to quit? The next question you should really, really ask yourself is why? Why are you quitting? Okay? So after figuring that out, after figuring out if you're ready, after figuring out the reason why you're quitting, the third thing that you should figure out before you send in your resignation letter is, what are you going to do next? After making your exit from your current company, you have to figure out where you're going to go or where you're going to move into. I've had employees answer when I ask them during their exit interviews. If I ask them, so what's your plan? What are you going to do next? Some would answer, yeah, they have a job offer waiting, and good for them. Some would answer, they have a business waiting for them to establish. Some would answer, they want to go back to school. They've actually enrolled. Some would answer, I want to start a family. I'm going to have more family time. And that's good because, they've figured out. But believe it or not, guys, there are people who have answered me, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to rest. I just need a break. A break can be had in a weekend or an extended leave, a sabbatical. Well, there are some companies who actually pay for their employees to go on a sabbatical if they just have to figure things out. But resigning and not knowing what to do after resigning or after quitting your job is very, very dangerous, because an idle mind, they say, is the devil's playground. The moment you leave yourself with nothing to do and so much time around you, you can either use that time to upgrade, or that time can also cause your brain, your body, your skills to downgrade. And with the way things are going now, things are going so fast. Skills are being upgraded by a lot of applicants so fast. You may think you just want to take a break for a few weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, but by the time you figure out what you want to do, you're going to be going against so many other upskilled applicants, and that the opportunities that used to be there for you, you might have lost them in just a span of 4 weeks. Okay? So, 3 things, right? Figure out if you're ready. Figure out if your finances are ready before you quit. Figure out if your family is ready before you quit. Figure out if you're ready before you quit. Are you ready to really say, bye, I'm not gonna come back to this desk anymore. Bye, you're not gonna see your workmates 8 hours a day, 5 days a week anymore. Bye, you're giving up learning opportunities with the company you're leaving. See? So you really have to figure out, are you ready? Okay? 2, you figure out, again, why. You have to know why you're quitting. If it's a people issue, you have to make sure that that people issue is relayed to the company. With due respect to the company you're with, I think the organization deserves to know that if there's any people concern within the organization, it's with due respect that you either reach out to your HR, you reach out to your team lead, you reach out to your manager, and let them know. Let them know if something can still be fixed. Let them know if it can't be fixed. But at least let them know. And the third thing, of course, as I said earlier, figure out a plan. You have to have a plan before you quit. It's kind of like, again, I know I've always used this example, but I think it's the example that strikes the strongest note with people. It's like getting into a relationship, okay? When a relationship ends, and then you figure out, why did it end? Are you ready now that it's ended? Are you moving to the next relationship just because? Or do you know, did you figure out, because of the relationship you ended, did you now figure out what kind of man, what kind of woman, what kind of partner you want to be with? Right? Same in a job. If you quit, you gotta figure out what you want next. I have a daughter. She's 18 years old. Hi, Natalie. I hope you're listening. I remember her asking me once, she's still in uni, but she asked me once, Mommy, I want to quit. And it was an organization that she was with. Okay, you're going to quit that group, and then she's going to find another group to join. I guess one of those extracurricular things that happen in school. And I asked her, why are you quitting? Because she doesn't get along with the members in the group, and that she doesn't think that the officers were doing a good job of it. So same in a company. You may not think the managers or the supervisors are doing a good job at things. But again, you got to remember, you're going to find rotten tomatoes even in the next basket. So I told my daughter, you're going to have people issues even in any organization. You better figure out what kind of group you want to join next. Right? So you best figure out what kind of company, what kind of role, what kind of job you want next before you even make the move. Okay? Now, those are the 3 things that you ask yourself before you send in your resignation. I highly advise an exercise before you write your resignation, or when you're having your resignation thoughts, or when you find that moment where you think it's just about time that you quit because you've had enough. Go to a mirror, look yourself in the mirror, and ask yourself those 3 questions. Am I ready? Is my family ready? Are my finances ready? Okay. Why am I quitting? Okay. You got to figure out the reason. And 3, do I have a plan? Where am I going after I quit? Okay. Now, there are, of course, non-negotiable reasons when an employee should quit their job. So, if it's a question about health, okay? If it's a question about whether it's mental health or physical health, if it's a question about health, that's a no-brainer. Not just for yourself, but for your family. You may be earning a 6-digit salary, but if it's affecting your health, and if it's affecting your sanity, I highly advise that you rethink where you're at currently. Also, if it's an item, or if it's a concern of legalities, if you know that the organization you're with is going against a certain law or certain provision, whether it's the labor code standards or whether it's industry processes, the moment you know that your organization is going against the law and you can't do anything about it, okay, then that is the time when you should actually be thinking if you should, there's no question. It's a red blinking light, okay? And the third, if, again, you see yourself with no certain growth in your company. It's very rare. It's very rare that happens. Almost all companies would have growth opportunities for their employees. Very rarely would you see a company where there's 0 chances for growth, right? But if you're in that rare case of a company and that you've been there for enough time and you figure out there's just really 0 growth, then okay, then there's no question. That's also a red light. That's also a red flag. Okay, again, red flags. If it's a question of health, by all means, send in your resignation. If it's a question of law and legal matters, and it's something that you can't do anything about, go ahead, send in that resignation. And if it's a question of zero growth, okay? Just to cap that, guys, I'd like to share with you that it's not always the entrance that matters in a career. You may have made a very good entrance, but in most, if not all, people are remembered by what they do and when they exit. So HR, management, your teammates will remember whether your exit was graceful or what did you do before your exit. Okay? So I'm leaving the screen open now, the time open now for questions. I'm sure, guys, you have a lot of questions. You'd be lying to me if you would say you don't have any questions on this topic. It's a safe space. Whatever questions you send me, I will not read out your names. I'm just gonna read out your questions. If you guys are fearing that some of your HR people might also be listening here, yeah, all good. This is a safe space. So we have our first question, and it's talking about, what about shifting fields? Given that outgoing employees may have a plan, that's good, however, do not have the qualifications for a shift in field. What do you think is the best move to start with? Okay, good question. Shifting fields, or maybe shifting roles than what you currently have. First thing you'd consider is that opportunity available where you're at right now? I mean, the same organization that you are in, do they have that particular field that you would want to move into? Okay, I'll give a classic example. And heads up to my software engineer and IT friends out there. I'm giving software engineering industry items because this is the area that I have practiced in terms of HR. Let's say you started out as a QA, right? And you started out as a QA because maybe you thought it wasn't really that much, it didn't really require you to do in hyper or hardcore coding, and that you think your skills were not ready for coding yet. So you started as QA. Now, in the field or in the practice of doing your job as a QA, you've gotten involved in coding projects, right? Which now you see yourself, I'm ready to switch to software engineering, and you really want to pursue a dev path. Then first thing you have to do is check in your organization. Is that opportunity available in your organization? And if your answer is no, LAI, unfortunately that opportunity is not available in my organization. Okay, the challenge though is that if you look for another job, say again in that example, your experience is QA, but the next job you want to have is software engineer. You're going to have a tough time breaking into a new company as a software engineer. They might default to your QA experience. If they would hire you as a software engineer, they may not totally immerse you with software engineering products right out the bat, okay? You may have to undergo a training period, right? So check first, is that available within your organization? If it's not, then be ready to upskill yourself on your own, okay? If you're not ready to quit your job, but you want to shift paths, then find side projects that you can involve yourself with inside your organization. If you don't have any inside your organization, look outside communities, groups, meetups that don't necessarily have to be work-related, but are related to your chosen new field, okay? I have a classic example also, and shout out to Ian Pestelos of Agile Philippines. He's a classic example. He finished a degree in political science, and he actually went for a couple of years in law. But when he started working, the path that he pursued, lo and behold, was software testing, QA, right? And after years of establishing himself as a really, really good expert on QA processes, he's now established himself into mentoring in the Agile field. Not just technical QA, Agile QA, but also leadership. So see, it's diverse. So you gotta be ready first. You gotta find the opportunities within your organization first, and if there's none, if you're gonna look outside, you have to be ready to invest in yourself. All right? Okay. Okay. Is it mandatory to render 30 days notice? Ladies and gentlemen, yes. By the labor code, you have to give your employer 30 days notice at minimum. Now, the next question would be, do I really have to render the 30 days? The decision will be up to your employer. Now, the important thing there is to ensure that every open item, every open task is transitioned properly. That whoever takes over the role that you are leaving is ready, and that it will not cause any damage or loss to the organization. So, in resignation letters, the minimum period would be 30 days. That's the safest. Because if you don't do that, your employer may have their, they may have the right to actually sue you for damages if, within the 30-day period, transition was not made clear. Again, pending your immediate supervisor's approval or pending your manager's approval, that 30 days can actually be shortened. Again, depending on how fast you turn over the projects or open tasks on your plate. Okay? All right. How do I write a resignation letter that doesn't sound too negative? What can I write on that letter that can make it sound more friendly? Okay. Good question. You don't want to sound, like a bitter person saying bye and all that. It's kind of like asking me, LAI, how do I break up with somebody without sounding so cruel? How do I break up with my company still showing them that I'm grateful? Okay, so the important thing, you begin your resignation letter. This is formal notice of my resignation, effective, of course, the date, and then you mention your notice period, if you're within the 30-day or you're willing to extend it to 45 days, or if you're willing to extend it to until they find a proper replacement for you. Okay, that's one way to sound friendly. 2, state in your resignation letter that you will do everything that you can to help in 1, finding a replacement, or 2, transitioning everything to whoever is next or to whoever is left in the team, or being available even after your notice period to answer questions that they may have. Like you may reach me on my personal mobile number or my personal email even after my last day for any questions that you may have on certain tasks. Of course, employers, or it's also good for you to say you're grateful for the support, the growth, the help that the company and the team has given you. You can cite examples there. Let's say you're an HR practitioner and you started you were an associate when you were hired by the company, and you were there for 2 years and you learned a lot about the facets of HR from that company. It's but respectful to actually mention that in the resignation letter. Vice versa, what if you're resigning on not so positive terms, right? That you feel that there's nothing really positive to put, and you might just be tempted to sound not friendly in your resignation letter. My advice to you is, as much as you may be bitter, as much as you may feel hurt during your resignation, I highly advise that you do not burn the bridges that you created. HR people, the HR circle is so small, and that checking up on former employees for references is done really, really quickly. So for your sake, in your next job, and not just in your next job, but in future connections in the network, right? In future endeavors with your career, as much as you want to sound unfriendly, as much as you want to sound angry, or as much as you want to just be blah on your resignation letter, highly advise that you still make it on a positive note. It's really, really difficult to burn bridges. because the bridges you think you won't need right now, and you think, yeah, it's okay if I burn them, they might just, hit you on the head sometime down the road. Okay? All right. And I guess we have more questions here. Told you it's a topic that's really, really good to talk about. I got a higher offer from another company. However, I still like my current company better, though the offer is very tempting. Can I negotiate my salary with my current employer? If yes, how? Okay, the question of negotiation of salary and validating your market rate. Of course, you can negotiate. Now, the tricky part is how. Okay? So first off, you have to be prepared to show them the offer letter. Okay? Show perhaps the immediate supervisor or your HR that you have an offer from XYZ company for the same role. But, like you said, you really love your current company. Aside from the offer letter, you gotta show your accomplishments or your productivity or your contributions to the company in at least the last 6 months. Because whenever salary negotiations come up, there are 3 things that companies actually consider, or HR, or HR, not even business people consider when you talk about salary negotiations. One, of course, is the market rate of a role, which you find through having another offer from the company or doing your own research about it. That's 1. 2, your business, the business's capacity. You have to understand also, as much as XYZ company offered you 6 digits for your current role, it is perhaps because XYZ has been there for over 10 years and they've had enough resources to put into that kind of role. And yet your current role is, say, a startup that's still beginning and doesn't really have that much of resources. At the end of the day, you also have to consider, will it be all about the money? Okay? XYZ may give you 6-digit salary, but how about the workplace, the work environment, the location, other benefits, leaves? How considerate are they with extending leaves? Or how are their overtime policies? Do they have company trips? Do they have wellness programs? All these things, all these benefits that are not translated into digits in your ATM, over time, it could also make or break an employee's decision whether to stay with a company or not, right? So approach your supervisor or your HR with the offer that you got, together with what you have contributed to the company, to the team, and be open. Be open to listen to what management or your HR will say. It's not, if they're not able to give you that 6-digit salary right there and then, by the word negotiation, perhaps you could have a middle point. They may not give it to you in cash, but let's say they're going to send you to training overseas for certain certifications, or they may give you extra leave credits, perhaps, which most people are still happy with. Those small things, right? And you have to be honest with yourself. What comes first? Is it the salary, or is it the working environment, or is it the learning opportunities, or is it the opportunity to make a name for yourself in the industry? Once you figure out what really matters to you, I'm sure you'll find the answer of whether you leave the company that you really like and go for that 6-digit offer, or you stay with the company and work yourself towards a higher salary or a higher position or more opportunities as you go along and as you grow with that company. Right? What if within the 30-day mandatory notice, I decide to change my mind and stay with the company? How do I tell my employer? Okay, how do you tell your employer? No other way to do it. Send in that formal email and say, after thinking about it, I've changed my mind. I've realized that this is where I really want to be. Make sure you loop in your HR. Make sure you loop in your immediate supervisor. But, ladies and gentlemen, there's one caveat there. The decision to accept your change of mind or the decision to rescind on your resignation will now be a management or an employer decision. Your employer can either decide to continue with your resignation or say, okay, let's rescind the resignation. And by law, once you send in your resignation, it's a voluntary resignation. The decision whether, and then you change your mind, the decision whether to go with your change of mind or to still accept the resignation is left to the employer. Okay, so I think those are a lot of questions. I hope I was able to somehow give you a sort of compass for you to use during this time. I've seen it on Facebook. There are pictures and memes going around. Status, waiting for 13-month pay before quitting, right? It's so tempting to do that. You think that you have extra money, enough to actually quit your job. But again, before you do that, you just have to make sure, ask yourself, are you ready to quit, right? Why are you quitting? And what do you plan to do? Where do you plan to go after you quit? If you have clear, concise, and very precise, accurate answers to those 3 questions, then you will know whether it's time to quit or not. Again, the non-negotiables is if your job is causing you health issues, if your job has legal or matters with the law that are unchangeable and are questionable, and if your job at that organization you see 0 growth, then by all means craft your resignation letter. But in every resignation letter, mandatory, yes, as much as you like it or you like it, you have to render the 30-day notice, or else, it could be difficult for you in the next company or the next organization you would be joining. Okay? So, happy Wednesday, everyone. For most of us, it's going to be a holiday tomorrow. So, I'm leaving you with those thoughts to think about, let it marinate. And I hope that as you figure those out, you learn where you're at in your organization and where you're at, where you want to be at this point in your careers. So please join us on HR Innovators for more talks in the future. Send us your comments or send us your feedback, or if you have any topic that you want to tackle, please feel free to push it out there. We will definitely consider all those suggestions. Feel free to message the group as well, so that if you have any concerns on HR or employee stuff, we're definitely here to help you out. So you guys have a good afternoon. It's a Wednesday, midweek. I know your energies are still high. You have a safe trip going home, wherever you guys are going to go home. I know EDSA's always a pain, so bring your patience with you, right?